This unusual episode was brought to you by Colonoscopy. Thank you, Colonoscopy. It's with the generous support of listeners like you that we here at The Whole Rabbit operate a vast international conspiracy of psychic spies, reality hackers, and agents of astral espionage deployed on every continent on Earth, including the bottom of the ocean and the South Pole of the Moon, so we can continue disrupting attempts by the boiling idiot chaos at the center of the cosmos from taking over the free governments of the world and turning us into space popsicles for an extragalactic Ponzi scheme barely comprehensible to mortal minds. If you'd like to stop the Elder Gods from grifting the alien community with people popsicles, or just hear the second half of this episode, then please visit www.patreon.com/thewholerabbit, where your monthly donation of just $5 will not only get you the extended version of this episode, but every single one of our episodes guaranteed to make you grow 6 inches taller overnight. But that's not all. I'll send you a super high quality 5x5 vinyl sticker of our Big Bunny Baphomet cover art so you can fascinate your friends and intimidate your neighbors. I'll even send you the secret keys to our Discord server where you can help us plan our next deployment to the rings of Jupiter. If you enjoy the free version of The Whole Rabbit but still want to support the show, please help us get this episode out far and wide, because as of its release, the information is still fresh and hopefully it might even help someone put the pieces together. But even after it gets old and isn't relevant anymore, hopefully it serves as a time capsule for when the Earth eventually starts spinning backwards, which I suspect could really be any day now. Disclaimer: this episode discusses current events, which, politically speaking, are extremely charged right now. One of my favorite things about this show is that our community truly is a diverse salad bowl of opinions, practices, identities, and beliefs, while still being able to respectfully disagree and keep things civil, even if things get a little heated. That said, I did my best to include ideas that were sympathetic to both sides of the aisle, while still offering the most controversial and juicy bits I could find. This may also be a good time to say that we patriotic folks here at The Whole Rabbit believe our country can handle solving its problems through free discourse and the democratic process, without the looming shade of political violence, which we unilaterally condemn regardless of its victim. That being said, we maintain the right to be irreverent and cynical towards authority. If we messed anything up or you have good information to share, please don't be afraid to get in touch with us and let us know. Feedback is always welcome. In this episode, we explore the astrology and occult symbolism that permeate the failed assassination of former U.S. President Donald J. Trump during his rally in Butler, Pennsylvania on the 13th of July, 2024, in case you hadn't heard of it. In the free side of the show, we begin by exploring the suspicious circumstances on the day of the shooting and if Donald Trump's association with Agenda 2025 is a nothing burger or not. While we touch upon biblical revelations, we find the reality predicting tendency of the Simpsons to be even more compelling and discuss how that phenomena functions. Afterwards, we dive into all the bizarre synchronicities around the shooting itself and speculate if what we are seeing is predictive programming or if we just live in a big computer simulation. Before the free show concludes, we get cozy and explore both Donald Trump's birth chart and how the assassination attempt has been predicted for years based on the stellar alignments therein. In the extended version of the show, we focus on the growing mountain of suspicious stuff surrounding the assassination attempt itself and dig as far as we can into the life of the shooter to get as close to revealing the dark truth as possible. Thank you, and enjoy the show. What did Franklin D. Roosevelt say after he dropped his pickle?
What?
I want a new dill.
I don't get it. Do I not get it because I'm Canadian?
Do you guys not have dill pickles?
I want a new deal. What is that in reference?
Oh, because we have the New Deal. It was like a work program, like social welfare.
Oh, I get it now. Thank you.
I always forget she's Canadian. She's American in spirit. We need to put her through propaganda, though. You want to hear a politically incorrect joke?
Yes.
Okay.
President Ben Franklin walked into a bar. Get it? He wasn't a president. Oh, you guys.
What?
Oh, nice. Okay.
What?
Which U.S. president got the job online?
Which one?
Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
Dirt.
In what state was George Washington born?
What?
Naked and crying, just like the rest of us. Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Whole Rabbit, where we don't just descend the rabbit hole in search of vampires, werewolves, and witches. Nay, we also sometimes strap on a pair of time vision goggles, synchronicity detection devices, and hyperstition field generators on an informational adventure of political intrigue and high-stakes occult cyber espionage, because this week we're discussing the July 13th assassination attempt on Donald Trump and all the occult symbolism and esoteric weirdness surrounding this black swan moment in American history. I'm your host, Luke Madrid, also known as Hack Rabbit. I'm joined this week by the Secret Service K9 Sniper Unit, Mari-sama.
Copy that, Ameribud Squad. We have a confirmed boater on the roof. I repeat, we have a boater on the roof. Ferry at your leisure. Over.
The G-Man riding a giant lizard from Japan, Malcor 5.
Konnichiwa.
And the sexy sleuth with the secret sauce, Hecka Astra.
Hello. I like sauce.
What's with the names of people we run for president? Bush, Dick, Hillary Clit, Donald Rump, now we got Harry Camel.
Oh my god.
Why do they do this to us? And then you put any of those with burning sand, it's a bad combination. All right, full disclosure, this topic is cursed, it's got barbed wire all around it, and we're well outside our comfort zone talking about this, so bear with us. We love freedom, and we're very cynical of people in power. So we maintain the right to be irreverent and skeptical towards all authority and authoritarian and mainstream narratives. So please feel free to talk to us if we missed anything or messed something up. Once again, we're a little outside our comfort zone, but we did it the best research we could. And my job is to be paranoid and skeptical, so you don't have to be. That's how I show my patriotism.
Yay. Where do we begin?
Just in case you've been living under a rock, we should explain.
Oh, get away from my rock! On July 13th, 2024, shots rang out in Butler, Pennsylvania, and the world turned upside down. In the middle of his speech, while pausing briefly to glance at a large projection of immigration statistics, Donald Trump suddenly reacts to a barrage of gunfire.
Take a look what happened.
Reaching up to grab his right ear before dropping suddenly to the foot of the podium as a murder of Secret Service agents pounce upon him hard enough to knock his shoes off. Blood trickles down the former president's face, and for a moment, nobody is sure if he's dead.
Are his shoes okay?
He got him.
He actually went
Okay.
flying off the stage. I saw it in a video today.
No way, really?
So they really had to get a shoe.
That's so funny. It's not a funny situation, but it's funny his shoes flew off.
It's not a funny situation, but it is a little funnier that the shoe went flying. Let's be real. After a short while, a Secret Service agent audibly confirms to the dog pile the shooter is down. Then, with Secret Service agents both large and small clinging to him like Neo in the Matrix, Trump rises awkwardly to his feet, protests incessantly for his shoes, and, urging the agents to halt for a moment, begins to pump his fists in the air while yelling triumphantly to the anxious crowd, "Fight! Fight! Fight!" In riotous passion, the crowd chants back in unison, "USA! USA!" Well, Doug Mills snaps what is destined to become one of the most iconic photographs in all of American history.
You know, as much as I truly do hate some of these candidates and politicians, like Donald Trump, really don't like his ass. It must feel really, really good right now to be a fan of his. They're eating good right now. The Trump.
Hell yeah, brother.
And I am a little jealous of that because I would love to have a little bit of that in my life, but I guess I have to wait longer.
We can all just get along though, right?
I mean, I love you guys.
In this moment already, there's a crazy synchronicity and coincidence. There's a very famous photo that's going around now of what looks like to be the very bullet that hit Donald Trump's ear while he was being shot at. And this photo was taken none other by Doug Mills. Now, Doug Mills is also the same guy who took the photo of the Secret Service agent informing former President Bush on 9/11 that the World Trade Centers were just hit by airplanes.
Isn't that crazy?
So you're saying that these two very specific, historically huge moments were caught by the exact same photographer.
Yep. The one with the Secret Service agents clinging to Trump where he's pumping his fist and the American flag is above him. It might be one of the best historical photographs ever taken. I think that was Doug Mills. And that's whether you like Trump or not. That's an objectively brilliant photograph.
So he got the one with the bullet flying past him and the fist pump one?
I don't know about the
I'm
fist
not-
pump, but yes, on the bullet. He did get the one with the bullet, and it's interesting because both that photo and the Bush photo are of the president, Trump is the former president, looking over the right shoulder, which I thought was interesting. Now, many were quick to point out that despite having a Pulitzer Prize-winning photographer like Doug Mills at the ready, the mainstream media typically does not give that much coverage to Trump rallies, with that one in Butler Butler that day, being the first to receive any attention from New York Times or to be live streamed on MSM networks. As many have probably heard, forensics concluded that the bullet which grazed Trump's ear missed by a small margin that had Trump not looked over his right shoulder, Doug Mills would have taken a spectacularly different photograph. It makes you wonder, why were they all there that day? What were they hoping to cover?
It does seem a little bit weird that this just happened to be the first one with that form of coverage, let alone a live stream. And the photographer was also taking it on such a specific setting to catch such fast movements. Everything has to align pretty specifically for that.
Yeah, some people are saying, like, why was this shutter speed so fast? Other photographers were like, well, it's not unthinkably fast. I think when you got a camera that is that good, yeah, why not? You're out shooting on a bright day.
I know when I've done fashion photography, we've done it before with like quite high shutter speeds to be able to have hundreds and hundreds of photos you can pick from. So I can see that.
Now, as you might expect, people on both sides of the aisle immediately begin to question how such a black swan moment for our republic could even come to pass. Before the last Secret Service agent had even landed on the presidential dog pile, both liberals and conservatives had already fixed their tinfoil hats firmly in place and begun sharing their respective conspiracy theories all over social media. The political left, for instance, usually quick to chastise conspiracy theories which call into question mass shootings, were wondering if perhaps the entire assassination attempt was staged by Donald Trump in order to garner sympathy votes and topple the republic once and for all.
This is a pretty interesting change to see conspiracy theories now coming from both sides.
Well, the last few years, the mainstream media has worked really hard to make it so if you are into conspiracy theories, you will be perceived as being right-wing, and many of the conspiracy theories out there are marketed towards conservatives and right-wing people, but there have always been right and left-wing conspiracies. It's just, politically speaking, the left usually doesn't question if a shooting is legit or not. It's usually assumed that it is. It's kind of in bad taste. Like, they sued Alex Jones, right?
Yeah, you can go back as early as the 90s, and conspiracy theorist folk, well, they were probably liberal.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, you know. But it's such a weird thing to say, like, in the first place, because it's always been both sides that have been saying conspiracy this, and crazy stuff. And when I was growing up, being woke was like a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
They changed that, too. They've worked really hard in the past decade or so to almost erase the old times and how we all used to get along.
Amen, Malachor. Woke did used to be knowing that Building 7 fell at free fall speeds into its own footprint, but now it means something else.
Awakened. It was awakened, and then woke is a buzzword because it's been transformed into, you know, basically marketing.
I remember a very early woke meme was actually a white dude with dreadlocks offering you drugs at a rave or something and then telling you the bottom text was some conspiracy theory.
Aliens built the White House, bro.
Right. That was woke.
Have you heard of the fractional reserve banking system, bro? You're like totally creating money every time you go to the bank. You know you don't have to pay your taxes, bro?
If we all just stopped paying our taxes, we wouldn't have to pay them anymore and go belly up.
Do you know that Jesus is actually Horus, bro? Oh, wait, that's us. Sorry. Fuck. Goddamn.
Yep. I feel so called out.
We all do.
Anyway, back on topic. Now, we're going to address both sides of the aisle, but like I said, we're beginning over here on the left. So in this hypothetical thought space, this supposed assassination attempt, assuming that maybe it was staged, it was on the heels, get it, of the gay furry hacktivist group SiegeSec doxing and identifying individuals associated with Project 2025, a neo-Christian theocratic initiative put forth by the Heritage Foundation, a conservative think tank hosted out of Washington, D.C., known for rubbing elbows with Donald Trump. While the idea was to help the larger community hold specific individuals accountable for anti-gay, anti-trans, and anti-queer legislation, it put the Heritage Foundation and their bizarrely fascist ideas and Agenda 2025 under the spotlight. Under Agenda 2025, for instance, all government employees would be replaced by political appointees chosen by the party, including those of the Department of Defense, the FBI, the Department of Commerce, the FCC, and the Federal Trade Commission. Other government organizations like the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of Education would be abolished for good. Under Agenda 2025, pornography and abortions would become criminalized, and all legal protections against discrimination of gender and sexual orientation would be permanently suspended. As you probably imagined, these are the sorts of folks who would probably believe spectral evidence should be admissible in court, and since hitting the mainstream news cycle, Trump has attempted to distance himself from the Heritage Foundation and claims he's never even heard of Agenda 25, saying that he knew nothing about it, and that some of its ideas were, quote, ridiculous and abysmal. After dodging questions about it for weeks, Trump supposedly dodges some bullets in Butler, the scandal evaporates, and suddenly Donald Trump is closer than ever to instituting his own brand of neo-fascist, theocratic dictatorship. At least that's what some people think. Well, this might sound laughable to some. The idea of a charismatic demagogue rising to dictatorial power on a wave of patriotic fervor is one firmly embedded in our religious, political, and entertainment mythologies. For instance, as it says in Revelations 13, 3-4.
And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him?
In this case, the beast would be Trump, and the head wound, and the dragon with its many heads and crowns would, I guess, be the Heritage Foundation.
And interesting you bring the Bible into this, because like Hecka was referring, and also Malachor brought this up, this is an all-encompassing thing. Like, both sides have conspiracy theories related to this. I actually did see a podcast had a bunch of veterans and like experienced like old conservative types on it that had relations to intel agencies and such, and they were all discussing, oh, this was a psyop, was a hoax, and it was done for the military to show that they will defect against the deep state when the war comes. So there's a lot of stuff up in the air about this. People are believing different sides, but I'm just saying that each side has these stories that they spin, and misinformation combined with truth, so it's hard to pick out the substantial bits.
Honestly, there's no real way for us to even know the truth. They could just be making computer graphics on TV for us to look at. We wouldn't really know. But you have to kind of decide how cynical you are. The thing about this particular version of the conspiracy theory with Donald Trump as maybe the literal Antichrist, the beast of Revelations, it's a much longer con, in my opinion. Like, it would require much more buildup, maybe even participation from both sides in order to facilitate this great rising of the Antichrist or the beast or whatever. So it makes you suspend reason a little bit more, at least in my opinion, but I think it's a possibility. People be trying to destroy freedom every which way they can, and it's my job to be paranoid. So Hecka actually found some interesting relations in the Bible to blood being on the ear, that it has some sort of ritual significance all the way back in the Old Testament.
Well, I've brought up how much I like Leviticus just because it's like the weird book of the Bible that people don't like to talk about because it has all this blood sacrifice. It's in the Old Testament, and it's, blood sacrifice and what to do with the blood and all that. And that's all through Leviticus. And interestingly, in Leviticus chapter 8, you have Moses taking Aaron and his sons to be consecrated. And he basically performs the purification and anointing of Aaron and his son. So kind of the way this goes down, and they have a bull for sin offerings, and they have 2 rams. They've got some unleavened bread. He washes them with water, and he puts Urim and Thummim, the breastplate, on Aaron. And we've talked about that before in the chariot episode. That's the breastplate on the charioteer with the faces.
That gives him the right to rule, doesn't it?
I don't want to misspeak, but it gives him authority. So then Moses puts a mitre on his head, on Aaron's head, plus a holy crown. He anoints the tabernacle with oil. He sprinkles some oil around on the altar 7 times, and then on Aaron's head. So I think the number 7 is important because that actually, I'm going to bring that number up again later. Then dresses his sons in ritual garb, kills the bull, and draws with its blood around the altar, removes some organs and fat, burns it on the altar, as well as the hide and its dung in a different fire. And he does that again, similarly, with the first ram. And then this is where things get interesting, is with the second ram. And this is Leviticus 8, verse 22 through 24. It says, Then he brought forward the second ram, the ordination ram, and Aaron and his sons laid their hands on its head. When it was slaughtered, Moses took some of its blood and put it on the lobe of Aaron's right ear, on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot, which I thought was kind of also fun that he lost his shoes. Is it on his toe? Did he get it on his toe?
Probably not, but we can pretend.
So, in a nutshell, this chapter of Leviticus is about the consecration of a high priest of Israel. And this basically happens because Moses is not very good at talking. And Aaron he's better with the people.
Sounds familiar.
Right. And Aaron is also the one who previously, before this, had created the golden calf
Oh.
while Moses was going up the mountain.
Oh,
And so
yikes.
this is, after this fact, it's kind of a turnaround for Aaron in the Bible where he becomes consecrated as a high priest. And interestingly, we've talked about Aaron's rod on the show before and his rod of ruling. And this is the exact rod that's said to be in the Ark of the Covenant.
Mari's thinking of penises.
I know. I'm sorry, but it's the patriarchy also. So I win.
Aaron's rod. But then, okay, so then there's one more instance, now be quick on this, one more instance of blood on the right ear. And this is also in Leviticus. This is 6 chapters later.
That's when the counter snipers finally respond. Please continue.
And it's Leviticus 14, verse 28. It says, sorry, I was trying to keep it together, but that was funny. It says, some of the oil in his palm he is to put on the same place as he put the blood of the guilt offering on the lobe of the right ear of the one to be cleansed, on the thumb of the right hand, and on the big toe of the right foot. And this ritual in chapter 14 is essentially a cessation of plague, a cessation of sickness. It's a ritual for getting rid of sickness.
Or healing, right? Healing
Yeah, in
sickness.
this, at the very beginning of the chapter, it mentions skin disease, but in general, it's a cessation of plague, and that is also what Aaron is known to be connected to, which is also highly interesting if you take COVID into account.
Yeah, we weren't doing the sacrifices correctly, apparently.
So I just thought that was really interesting to throw that out there. And there's also connections that come up later on in the astrological part of it with the number 7 and some other things. So
you're saying, if you know the Bible well enough, you can use the failed assassination attempt to prove that Donald Trump is either the chosen one, born again, or the Antichrist.
yeah, exactly. There you could use 2 separate instances to declare an extreme of one or the other.
It could go one way or the other.
Choose your own adventure story. I'm all about it. Now, in the scenario where he happens to be the beast, this also just so happens to be the plot of Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, which sees the conniving Palpatine become emperor and remake the Republic in his image as the Galactic Empire.
The attempt on my life has left me scarred and deformed, but I assure you, my resolve has never been stronger. It's never been this strong before. Before the times you've seen, you might have said that was strong. This is nothing like that. The war is over. The separatists, they have been defeated, and the Jedi Rebellion has been foiled. They're so foiled, they're wrapped up and out on my grill right now.
Oh my goodness.
We stand on the threshold of a new beginning. So shiny, so new.
I know.
So in order to ensure the security and the continuing stability will now be reorganized into the first galactic empire. It's gonna be the best galactic empire you've ever seen. It'll be the best in the entire galaxy. It'll ensure a safe and secure society. Very safe, very secure. You can leave your doors unlocked on your car. Everything will be fine. And I assure you this will last for at least 10,000 years. Maybe more. Maybe 20,000 years. An empire that will continue to be ruled by this august body and a sovereign ruler chosen for life. You know you're going to want me forever because you're going to be so tired of winning. An empire ruled by not only me, but you, the majority, and ruled by our glorious new constitution.
That was beautiful, Mari.
Thank you very much.
Execute Order Agenda 2025.
Does not compute.
Stop looking at porn, you fucking troops!
I disavow the KKK. I've said it a million times.
So stormtroopers are not allowed to look at porn.
No, never.
They're especially not allowed to look at Fudanari porn.
They're only allowed to look at Nick Fuentes'
No, because that would
search
be
history.
very gay indeed.
But what if that's what you like?
I mean, go for it. I'm done.
We got a place for you kind of people. It took over the border. That's why we need the
Bruh.
wall.
They're only allowed at Bohemian Grove after this, right?
Don't let me, Luke. You gotta wrangle this because I'm about to go. I'm about to go Trumpomania on this bitch.
I'm about to stand back and watch. This is gonna be great. We got both M's on either side here. Now,
If nothing else, even if you don't like Star Wars or believe in the Bible, the symbols and stories of popular fiction, especially of the religious variety, so Star Wars, it can still influence reality through a phenomena which in chaos magic is known as hyperstition. We just talked about it quite a bit in the last few episodes. Most people are familiar with hyperstition through the eerie tendency for things in The Simpsons to seemingly come true years later, including, of course, the election and death of Donald Trump. There's one sequence of him inside Trump Tower on an escalator. It even has like a bystander dropping a campaign sign in the sequence as Donald Trump is going down the escalator. It looks identical.
It's perfect.
It's uncanny. That was back in 2016. Everyone was sharing it around, but it still blows my mind. Now, here in 2024, though, just last week, this same phenomena from The Simpsons made national news because episode 11, season 17 depicts Lisa Simpson stepping up as president, having inherited a budget crisis from the former president, Donald Trump. Now, Lisa Simpson is dressed in identical attire to the one worn by Kamala Harris during her inauguration to vice president in 2021.
I am the lizard queen.
You gotta put Kamala's laugh right there.
She does it a lot.
God damn, it's so gross.
I have a compilation video saved on YouTube of it. It's awesome.
Okay, I love that gif of Ed the hyena from Lion King just saluting. I'm like, that's President Chuckles right there.
Dude, I was at the bar wearing my blue jeans with my boys that I work over at the yard with, and my foreman was there, and he looks at me with a twinkle in his eye, and he said, you know what, Luke? I've been really thinking about it. Old Hard Hat Harris has really been making the country stronger and better recovering. You know what? I think I'm voting for Kamala this year.
I wonder, because it's the same outfit as the one with Lisa Simpson at the podium is very similar in color and style to the outfit with the I Am the Lizard Queen scene from another episode. And that's where Lisa drinks the water from the, was it Duffland ride? And she gets really, really high. She has a crazy drug trip. So that would be pretty funny if Kamala Harris was caught doing drugs or something.
Tripping balls.
Man, yeah, it's very theatrical politics
maybe
right now.
She laughs all the time because she's just seeing jesters.
Or she's just high, maybe.
Clockwork gnomes. Pretty funny.
Now, one Twitter post by The Real Donut pointed out Vice President Claire takes the position of 47th U.S. president after Frank resigns in House of Cards. The Real Donut also pointed out that Julia Louis-Dreyfus from, Seinfeld had a sitcom named Veep, where she played a vice president who also winds up serving as the 47th U.S. president. Is this just predictive programming, or does the universe have a sense of humor?
It's also interesting because in that scene with Lisa, doesn't she specifically point out President Trump?
Yes.
It's so nuts. It's really
weird.
Crazy.
It's a little too much on the money. But The Simpsons does it time and time again. It's called hyperstition. It's a real thing. Unless they're really planning this stuff out 50, 60 years ahead of time, doing crazy stuff like that. I just don't think that's possible.
Or we really do live in a simulation.
Yeah, humans are lazy. We would obviously just use magic to affect near future. We would not plan that far, obviously.
That seems like Occam's razor to me, but hey, I might be wrong. You never know. Now, a few episodes ago, we talked about a card game called the Illuminati card game. It's a trading card game. We even touched upon the fabled Enough is Enough card, which features a ferocious yelling face of Donald Trump truncated by an orange line at ear level with a caption that reads,
at any time, at any place, our snipers can drop you. Have a nice day.
I love this example because if we subtract our lived experience of Donald Trump, the artwork from this card almost seems random. Who is the figure in the card supposed to be? Why is he yelling? Is he the person ordering the attack, or is he the victim? After Trump's failed assassination attempt on July 13th, the imagery in the card now seems hauntingly familiar. The figure in the card resembles Donald Trump. People have noticed that for years. But now we know his screaming face is the same iconic one that he's now famous for in the photograph that Doug took, popping his fist in angry, self-assured defiance. Heck, even the tacky segmented squares in the foreground look like Donald Trump's bizarre, and now also iconic, ear bandage that he wore at the RNC the following day. Let's be fair. Anything can be made to fit Revelations, but this is too on the money.
Also, the streak of blood across his face. There's that orange line across the face on the card.
Oh, man.
And when he was hunkered down, the blood was dripping from his ear, and he might have smeared some of it with his hand, but it looks like this just straight line down his cheekbone.
That's wild.
And there's also that other card, the second bullet.
Oh, yeah.
And it's of a blonde-haired man.
Rocking a mullet.
Kind of dodging a bullet, yeah. And it looks like the sniper's going to get him with the second bullet. But if you put your finger over the mullet section of it, the face just totally looks like Donald Trump.
I like to imagine it as just Donald Trump with a mullet.
It totally looks like that.
Then it's like a cool 80s movie. It's kind of like really edgy and awesome.
It would be pretty funny if he grew out a mullet.
Yeah, it would be great. Bring mullets back.
But it does make you wonder, like, is this a feature of the universe? Is this like something that's built into human nature that allows them to understand their reality somehow? Immediately after the assassination, there were spoofed album covers of basically it was Trump's head superimposed over 50 Cent from his first album's like album artwork.
Bro, he played that at his concert. Like he rapped the song on top of it and like had the fake album cover with Trump's head on it.
50 Cent did that?
Yes.
Within hours.
What?
Yes. He was like, this is dope. I'm putting it at my show.
I don't know karate, but I split the bricks.
Oh my god.
Is he one of those pro-Trump rappers? I think he is, right?
No, he's not. But like the song is about these guys are trying to actively kill me in the streets because I'm so good. And then someone made an AI song on YouTube with that Photoshop. 50 Cent saw it on Twitter. And then he like put that in the background at his recent show when he was rapping that song.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, so
He liked it. He liked the meme.
all right, so here's my question, and I bring this up because I'm trying to answer, is this just something humans do? Because I saw one poster like, this is predictive programming because 50 Cent. Have you ever looked at a 50 Cent piece? It's JFK. You know what they did to JFK? I was like,
Oh, well,
I was like,
Wait, I'm Canadian. What's on a 50 cent piece?
JFK.
JFK was shot in the head by the CIA or somebody.
Yeah.
You guys still have 50 cent pieces?
Yes.
Well, they're rare.
Really?
They're very cool. My grandpa used to collect them, so I have a bunch. Anyway, they shot JFK in the head. It's kind of a thing for American history.
And we just found that out, like literally, like it was published maybe like 4 years ago or something. Like while Trump was in office, it was put out.
My point is it really that remarkable, or is 50 Cent, it's just he's like, oh yeah, they tried to assassinate JFK, they tried to assassinate me, 50 Cent. Or was he 50 Cent before they tried to shoot him? I don't know. Please leave a comment somewhere and tell me. I need to know. Because then that's an example of 50 Cent using high precision to get himself shot, which I don't think he did. Or he's just, anyway, my point is this is some feature of being human is, you know, memes.
You can also just like
Well-
memes. Yeah.
Well, and now it seems pretty obvious that there's a fairly common perception that now Donald Trump has gangster cred. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, it's totally true. Atlanta, it's like changed overnight. After he got his mugshot here, I'll talk about that later, but it's ridiculous. Like, and this is just like cherry on top for people that have been oppressed by the judicial system.
I just gotta say, like, Trump didn't get shot. His ear did, all right?
Bro, that's
such
part
a
of his body. It's part of his body.
I mean,
okay.
if you sustain a wound from a bullet, you've been shot.
Okay, here's the thing. Okay, shoot me in my thigh or my butt. That doesn't make a difference, but that's like a whole foot, right?
I mean,
this is like an inch away from permanent, like instant death. Like
I'm trying to make a joke. I'm trying to make a joke. I'm not trying to.
I mean, it would be like, you know what though? It would be laughable if he was like, I got shot in the buttocks.
That would actually be way funnier than the situation.
Yeah.
He's doing the soccer player move. Oh, I got fucking hurt because homeboy touched my butt. It's like, dude, you should be like, no, I'm fucking tough. Like, that. Like,
well, I mean,
yeah, but you know, whatever. You got shot in the ear, dude. You want to stretch it out. Go ahead.
Granted that the wound is not that dire, he still came very close to death, which I think in and of itself is its own experience.
Look,
No
he's
doubt.
not cool because he took a bullet in the ear. He's cool because he neo-dodged a bullet and it scraped his ear. That's the thing.
I agree to that. Yeah, that's badass.
He loved statistics so much that it saved his life. Think about
Hey,
that.
that's a weird-
Next
that's a
time you
weird
go to
way to
math
live.
class and you're like, I don't like math, huh? Could save your life when you're running for president.
I've got more Bible stuff for later when it comes to borders.
Now hold on a minute. We have to talk about other weird hyperstition style synchronicities that happened around the assassination. So I thought this one was pretty wild. Have you ever heard of Smedley Butler? We know that the assassination attempt took place in Butler, Pennsylvania. Now to read from Wikipedia, who's Smedley Butler? Now in 1933, Smedley Butler became involved in a controversy known as the business plot when he told a congressional committee that a group of wealthy industrialists were planning a military coup to overthrow President Franklin D. Roosevelt. They intended to have Butler be like the lead figure, like a veterans type dictator kind of guy, similar to other fascist regimes at the time. But instead he was like, no, I love my country, and he ratted them out. But then the mainstream media was kind of in on the business plot, and they ridiculed all of the allegations. But over years, it's come out that no, he was correct. He saved the country from a military coup, from like big business taking over the United States using the military, like pretty crazy stuff. I just thought it was interesting that, I don't think I've ever heard the word coup being used seriously in the United States in my lifetime. And now it is. And it just so happens to be centering around this assassination attempt in Butler. It's just kind of a fun coincidence.
Didn't this also happen in Pennsylvania?
Yes. I think Smedley is from Pennsylvania also. That's where he was born.
Yeah.
So that's kind of fun. Now, this one's pretty in the pocket. Some pointed out that the new Marvel's Captain America Civil War movie featured an attempted assassination on the US president in the film, played by Harrison Ford, whose birthday just so happens to be, guess what? July 13th. I saw a clip, like the bullet shatters glass. And we will find out later that the shooter shot from the AGR glass building, American Glass. It's too weird, man. It's too weird. So that's Harrison Ford's birthday. It's also somebody else's birthday. Somebody that's more than a little important to the founding of the United States of America.
Yeah, it just so happens that July 13th is also John Dee's birthday.
What?
John Dee was born 497 years ago, July 13th. And for those of you who don't know, he's very famous, legendary English mathematician, astronomer, astrologer, occultist, alchemist. He was honestly the world's smartest man in his time.
He had like the first library in all of England. He had like academic library. He knew everything that there was to know. He was like a crazy savant.
Yeah, and it was him, John Dee himself, who coined the term the British Empire, because he saw through communication with spirits that he had to kind of change the world. The angels were telling him to save the world with his knowledge, and to do that, he needed to help the Queen of England establish an empire. That's saying a lot, but that's essentially what happens with him.
Kind of a big deal, because while other alchemists were fleecing the royalty, stealing their startup money for gold production from base metals, supposedly, like, give me the money and I'll make you all this gold, and they take the money and run. So while that was going on, John Dee was fashioning maps to explore the new world, and he urged the crown, whoever settled the new world basically achieved victory over the geopolitical endgame in all of human history. He signed his signature 007 and was the forerunner of British secret services. In the years that he devoted himself to communicating with God's good angels, he used the help of an Edward Kelly, a somewhat questionable sorcerer who infamously had clipped ears due to past convictions of fraud, of all things. In many ways, those two men and the angels they conjured played a huge role in establishing the United States as an expansion of an English-speaking Christian empire. This is an interesting and even chilling connection, because Donald Trump is often couched in terms of Christian, even theocratic kingship by his strongest opponents and his most fervent supporters.
John Dee's works and his tale is very vast, but to the occultist, to the ceremonial magician, perhaps his most infamous and sought-after magics are that of the celestial, as he called them, or the Enochian system of magic, and understanding what it all means, right? At that level, that's in ceremonial magic, that's the highest level that you can go. And it's because of John Dee. He sort of wrote the book and the process on this. This magic, I like to just kind of sum it up as deep space star magic. And these are rituals that are more concerned with particular single stars rather than focusing on a planet or a constellation. And those would be considered, I guess, quote unquote, more basic systems of magic themselves. Enochian magic is what Dee is famous for. And he kind of built this system based off of knowledge from older systems of star-related magic as well. Some of these stars have an interesting occurrence in the attempted assassination of Donald J. Trump.
Whoa.
I felt it would be a little bit worth it to spend some time going over just how much Trump's own chart and his transits at this time may reflect the reality that we were all witness to.
Oh, I'm excited.
So let's start with the royal stars. There are 4 royal stars that were said to be the guardians of the skies in the Persian astrology and their myths. We had Aldebaran in the east, Regulus in the north, Antares in the west, and Formalhaut in the south. These stars were regarded as powerful forces that were both good and evil in their respective realms. These stars were said to be the cause of natural disasters, societal breakthroughs, scientific innovations, and even major political events, usually things like an assassination or a sudden shift in power to an opposing faction. These were all said to occur when Regulus was in dominance.
Interesting.
We're going to talk about Regulus a little bit more later. Moving on to a separate set of stars that John Dee and Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa wrote about. We have the Bahenian fixed stars, and there's 15 of these fixed stars. We're going to talk about 3 of them today, Regulus, Algol, and Spicia. And these are another set of stars infamous for their catastrophic qualities when not worked with properly by magicians. So I just wanted to set the stage a little bit so that when we're talking about some of these points later, these stars, you understand that they're very important deep space ideas for people like John Dee and the occultists in general.
And let's not forget Ronald Reagan, a fellow Republican who also had a failed assassination attempt on his life. Big astrology guy. Do you know that?
I think I learned that recently.
Maybe Trump needs an astrologer.
Yeah, I would recommend it bigly.
I agree.
But that's anti-Christian.
He could just carry the ghost of Ronald Reagan in a quartz sphere in his pocket.
Didn't Ronald Reagan say you missed?
Whoa.
It what did it do? Did it hit no, that was Teddy. It hit the speech in his pocket.
That's Teddy Roosevelt, who also,
Yeah.
he actually drained the swamp. So
But-
also another weird coincidence.
I don't know where they tried to shoot Ronald Reagan, but
They shot him in his speech, in his pocket.
oh.
He pulled out his speech, he's got a bullet, and he's like, well, they shot my speech, so I'm just gonna have to improvise. And then he freestyled the whole fucking speech.
Reagan.
Oh, Reagan? No, Reagan just got put in a car and left really, really fast.
Yeah, that's what yeah.
But the Secret Service agents had really wickedly fucking cool Uzis. Where were their fucking Uzis this time? They couldn't even put it back in their fucking holster. Sorry, let's continue.
I agree.
Good lady.
Give the Secret Service agents Uzis again.
They got a 5'9" person protecting a 6'3",
Okay.
6'4".
That was the
Yeah.
bitch in the front. Did you see the bitch in the back?
No.
Okay, so there was a Secret Service agent for the back of him, and she was 3 feet away from him, cowering in a ball on the stage by herself, away from the crowd. She wasn't even on the dog pile at all. Dude, how do you?
She was looking for
Ugh.
tiny snipers up close, okay?
I guess
Misunderstood.
I guess so.
There was a sniper that duck and covered too.
She was so scared. I was like, oh Lord.
She was doing her job, okay? Just leave it alone. Now, please, tell us about these fixed stars. Now, are you telling us that Regulus, Algol, or Spica have something to do with a transit that's occurring right now in Donald Trump's chart?
Yes, and also there's just in general things that are happening that are interacting with the star. It's not in some of them particular to Trump's chart, but that being a fact, it matters for everybody else because we're all going to see that aspect occur, right? So it just so happens Trump has actual alignments with those events.
Right. And then Algol is very prominent in the event chart. So I only really looked at the actual day and time.
This is the birth chart of July 13th, the attempted assassination day.
Right, in the notes. But for Trump's chart, what you can do is look at his aspects and how they line up to that day and the happening.
Yes.
So shall I begin? It would be awesome if you guys had the notes for this. Check out the Patreon. But if you do a chart for the actual date and time of the assassination attempt, which would be the 13th of July, 2024, the local time was 6:11 p.m. and 33 seconds, interestingly enough, in Butler, Pennsylvania. So if you do that for an astrology chart, you'll get the chart that I'm looking at when I'm reading this. I'm going to go by wherever the planets land in the chart. And so the first one that I come across is Pluto, which is situated just into Aquarius, and it's in the second house.
So it's going to be rising in a few hours.
Right, correct. It's just under the horizon. And so Aquarius, that energy it's very assertive, it's creative, communicative. It's all about making connections with other people, in the sea of, being social. The second house is over possessions. So personal items that you own or that you treasure. And then Pluto is here, which represents sex, death, and transformation. Pluto represents generational energies, and that's because it takes such a long time to transit the zodiac, exactly 250 Earth years. Because of its elliptical and tilted orbit, the time it spends in each sign varies from about 11.5 years, which is in Scorpio, to all the way to 31.5 years, which is how long it spends in Taurus. Currently, Pluto is in Aquarius, and I believe this shows a paradigm shift in the way this current generation of people, and I mean every person alive right now, it affects the way that we all assert ourselves or present ourselves and create our image in the public, where we communicate with one another in the social network. That could even apply to in real life, or more and more these days, we're all talking online about things that are happening. So you have to take that into account, that we have a higher connectivity with one another. And then Pluto being here also indicates that this event occurred during a time of pushing the status quo forward forward in new and novel ways, like in ways that we haven't tried before. The generation of Pluto and Aquarius, which I'm assuming it's either Gen Alpha or Gen Z, but it's a generational energy. But they're trying to push the borders of what is acceptable in society. Like what can we do? Can we try new things? And I think because things also in this sign, they progress so quickly, but Pluto is here providing a resistance, and that will ultimately transform the entire system on every level. And that includes social, economic, and personal levels.
Currently, and at the date of the incident, I just looked it up. Pluto retrograde May 2nd to October 11th. So Pluto, Saturn, and Neptune are in retrograde.
So when Pluto went into Aquarius, it was like a big sign to me. And if you were on the Discord before this happened, I was kind of sounding off about how we're gonna, and when I say we, I mean the United States is gonna have its first Pluto return.
Oh, yeah.
So it's the first time that Pluto has entered Aquarius since the Declaration of Independence was written.
Whoa.
It's also worth noting that Pluto was in Aquarius during the French Revolution. It was also a time when King Henry broke from the Catholic Church. And of course, like I said, the American Revolution.
Kind of a big deal.
So just to clarify what I'm saying here, Pluto takes about 250 years, 246 years to complete its cycle through the zodiac, to go through all 12 signs. There's an interesting point here, is that no country or empire or kingdom has lasted more than 2 Pluto returns. There's always some huge revolution or change in the said government, which leads to the downfall of it before a third Pluto return can ever happen.
Oh, there's another place that number 246 is going to appear, and now I'm freaked out.
Oh, wow.
We'll get there. That's creepy.
No way.
Yeah, dude, it's weird.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fucking weird. Before we get there, though.
So moving on, there's not another planet until we have Saturn and Neptune, and they're in Pisces, and they are both also
retrograde.
Yes. So Saturn being here shows how energetic the event was, even before the tragedy occurred. Time was a huge factor when discussing how security forces reacted to the suspect, and also played a role in the trajectory of the bullets. If the timing is off, then the plan will fall through, responsibilities failed, and routines will be ruined. The assassination was botched by chance due to the turbulent energies of the rally itself related to Pisces, and the confusion and ineptitude of the Secret Service and police could either be a chaotic series of mistakes or a complete abdication of responsibility. And then Neptune being here makes sense, because the whole reason for any kind of rally, political or otherwise, is to stoke the abstract idea or dream of what would be good or beneficial for everyone present. The Pisces shows the energy from a roaring, impassioned crowd and the unspoken communication that goes between a speaker and the audience. On the flip side, this kind of frothing energy can result in one or many people not following their intuitions. Some crowd members were shouting at police, pointing, calling out the shooter minutes before. The building the security forces were stationed in had a direct view out on the roof towards the shooter, yet no one had an inkling to walk up to the window and take a look. Even if commanding officers didn't order the fire, there should have been someone with the intuition to take the shot first, yet no one did.
And you're saying, okay, we've got both Neptune and Saturn in House 3 communication?
Yes.
That does make sense.
Because there was a communication breakdown for the security forces, but the timing was off for the event to happen.
And Pisces is pretty wishy-washy. It's not a straight communicator. It would be confusing. And having Neptune, which I believe rules Pisces, overlapping with Saturn, it would make it so the Saturnian energies, the Secret Service agents, like the hard taskmasters, might get confused or distracted.
Or it could magnify the effect of one mistake, like dominoes falling.
It also kind of makes it, Cheatle basically became a sacrifice for whatever the hell happened that day.
Yeah.
And that kind of lines up with the energies too.
I'm surprised she had the balls to not resign after it happened, but they pressed her in Congress and she's gone now.
Shows him on TV with the sloped roof like that was gonna fly.
They show the counter person, and the counter sniper is like on a double sloped roof.
I watched over 12 hours of congressional hearings, and part of that was the members of Congress going to Pennsylvania and looking at the site, and they had a 70-year-old member of Congress on that exact roof.
He was fine.
He was fine.
You should always believe everything military intelligence tells you.
Okay, so moving on, we find North Node and Chiron, which I read these thieves. I don't know if anybody do, but they're in Aries, which is a cardinal fire sign. Very, very combative energy. And it's in house 4, which is family and home. So first of all, the North Node, this is kind of indicative of where the event will grow into. Like, how will it integrate into the culture? Like, what are the results going forward? Because of Aries, this event is pretty much just the starting point for a whole movement of extremely frustrated and determined energy to come out of people who have either experienced it firsthand by being there, or perhaps they were inspired by seeing it on the news or seeing those crazy photos that were captured at the event. And being in house 4, I feel like this is indicative that people will take their emotions and reactions of this event home with them, share their thoughts with family and friends as a way to access this extremely chaotic energy that they obviously received from witnessing it.
Or even darker still, you have Aries in the home, like domestic violence, which is what the assassination attempt was.
I mean, it could get ugly, but there's a way to handle this energy. But I think a lot of people are bringing it home because they have no idea how to process it, because it's a lot.
I like what Luke said about domestic violence, because if you think of America as a whole and this kind of political violence within America against Americans, it is kind of like domestic violence on a national level.
Yes.
I feel like I have to represent the person on the far left who's listening to this, because they're saying, well, our whole concern is that Trump is going to create a fascist environment where there's going to be lots of domestic violence and homegrown terrorism and blah. So I had to throw that out there.
Again, this whole event is extremely dualistic, and it could go one way or the other. It has to do with chance and luck, and it's really crazy. So next in Aries is Chiron, which I always look at this because it's the wounded healer. It does show your deepest trauma and spiritual wounds. And in this case, I feel like this is like the sore point of the event.
Wounded healer. I mean, he's wounded, and Aries is the head. So Chiron, wound, Aries, head wound. Pretty cool.
Yeah, but it also kind of, to me at least, it gives off more of a vindictive energy, like a kind of I told you so taunt.
Yeah.
Like, I've been there, done that. Now you can see what I'm going through kind of thing. And I'm going to rain hell on you. Like, revenge is definitely on the table at this point. Passions are super hot. The energy is still building after the event. And it seems like the easiest thing to counter this kind of tragedy is to wish it onto the opposing side, to blame people and hate other people, and to lash out verbally or even instigate more violence on the other side. But as we'll see, being reactionary and impatient will not be viable in the way this chart reads. The wounded healer knows that turning around to inflict the same wound will only make things worse. And along with Pluto's placement, Chiron here shows, to me at least, a powerful transformative energy, turning the hate, death, and violence into a more powerful and uniting energy. And I think that can be healing on a sociological level for everybody that's this event. Disasters, always a great way for uniting people and quelling social division, as the deep state knows very well.
So the product that is birthed from this is definitely backfiring from what they would have wanted.
Yes, it's like hinting at, but this is also saying that the correct reaction is to not turn and attack again. In order for it to play out for your benefit, you cannot just turn around and bite the hand that feeds you. Okay, so the next zodiac sign that has planets in it is Taurus. And we have Mars and Uranus and the fixed star Algol. And they all happen to be in conjunction in Taurus. It's actually quite a spectacular event. This doesn't happen very often. I know there's some historical events that Malachor probably saw or somebody else researched, but I heard some things like this is a very powerful combination.
It looks like a powerful combination. You throw Mars and Uranus together, it's going to be dangerous. And if Algol has any darkness attached to it, that's scary.
It does.
A demon star.
It's dangerously powerful shit, especially with Algol mixed in it. It's one of the most dangerous stars. We're going to talk about that now.
So first off, Mars is here, but Mars happens to be in the 5th house. The other two are in the 6th house. So there is somewhat of a separation, but it's literally by 1 degree. Like, Mars is 1 degree off of both the star and Uranus. So Mars is obviously the aggressive masculine warrior symbol, and it often represents the military, commanding officers like generals, prime ministers, presidents, and rulers, basically the typical patriarch. In Taurus, this energy becomes slow, persistent, patient and methodical. Expansion of a boundary, a country, and a kingdom, or even ideas can be sustained and enhanced by a slow and tactical approach. The iconic shot of Trump bleeding over the Secret Service and pumping his fist in the air with the American flag in the background is just, it's quite striking, and especially with Mars in this spot. Some people have compared this image with the famous painting of Washington crossing the Delaware and the famous photograph from the end of World War II raising the flag on Iwo Jima, where you have the group of soldiers planting the flag on some rocks in the water.
And you know that photo of Trump pumping his fist with the Secret Service agents? It's just as iconic as that Iwo Jima photo.
Oh,
For
it
sure.
is.
It looks strikingly similar.
You can't even argue with that. And then this is a very Martian power. And the fact that it's in the fifth house, which is, you know, playful entertainment, hobbies, and self-expression and leisure. It's funny that people even call it a hoax because it does. It plays out just like a television show or a movie or just a story.
It does have that quality. And it's crazy because Taurus is a bull and Mars is like thrusting. And the bull famously thrusts upwards, right? So that like USA, fight, fight. That's totally Mars and Taurus, fifth house energy, like 100%.
I was going to say, I think once you throw Uranus in there, it has like that kind of strange theatrical thing that you're getting at as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it almost seems like a show, like a really good show, but all planned, or was it planned for years behind the scenes? Even like if you go to see live theater, it's never really perfect every single time they perform it. And I really think that there is some huge luck involved and chance. And then moving on, still in Taurus, in the sixth house, we have, this is over health, and Uranus is here. It's conjunct with the star we'll talk about, Algol, but Uranus being here, the health aspect is interesting because it is a wound. Uranus indicates that this is all a random chance. It's spontaneous. There was a sudden change or transformation. This is a novel event. This would be a perfect alignment, for example, for a surprise attack, militarily speaking. It represents a break from the normal, from your expectations of what is supposed to happen. It's a disruption both on the physical for Trump and the people that were wounded and unfortunately died in the crowd, and it was also a psychic disruption for many, many people that witnessed it. Uranus indicates that this is going to be a cultural transformation that goes over time because it involves and affects many people. And then you have the star Algol involved. This will only magnify the energy that Uranus has on the random chance and chaos of the situation.
Okay, hear me out. Uranus is the planet of bureaucracy, I believe. He turned his head suddenly to look at a giant chart of stats, which is funny. And then his shoe goes flying all wackadoo, and he gets up and his first thing he says is, "Where's my shoe?" That's Uranus. Uranus both saved his life and made the funny thing with the shoe happen.
I feel like looking at this and having you explain all of this, it would seem as though if you were going to take astrology into account, that for an assassination attempt, this seems like a good conjunction. But I also kind of feel like Uranus is there to be like, surprise, it didn't work.
Yeah, no, exactly. That is exactly what's happening.
It was supposed to make him very dead, and it didn't.
But it made him very powerful instead. Like it was like throwing dice in D&D. That was a critical fail. I mean, seriously. Like you cast magic missile and the dragon eats it and becomes 10 times more powerful. Like, what are you going to do?
Instead of a surprise spectacular assassination, it's a surprise spectacular failure.
Yep.
Americans love that shit.
But it's good on the up. I mean, it's also a success. I mean, if you think about it. So it's like I keep saying, it's dualistic. Like it's one or the other. This is really unstable. It's an unsustainable energy at some point, which it almost did, but it's spun out into some other stuff. Mars being nearby helps channel this unexpected tragedy in a very awesome and iconic way, in my opinion. It's like pretty much everyone with how crazy this instance is.
You know, Uranus and Taurus, it's a bad mixture of energy, I guess, if you're looking on paper. Uranus is very free-spirited, and Taurus wants to be rooted and grounded. Even though it's powerful at goring things, it doesn't want to do that when it's at its best.
Where's my shoe?
I need my grounding. That's kind of weird.
Where is it?
Yeah, but it slowed
Where's my sandals?
I don't know. It kind of slowed it down and allowed the joke to happen.
It's just a mixture of energy that's saying there's going to be hard obstacles to crush before you're settled down. When this is the time, this is when these alignments happen, right? So again, with Mars in the same sign, the Taurus energy is somewhat out of its element. And on top of all that, with the messy energy being mixed up, we also have the deadly gaze of Medusa that is Algol, right? And it's even called the demon star sometimes, as it's very well known by astrologers and historians that it's a very bad omen. Algol has been associated with many of the British Empire's successes and their failures over time. So the fact that this celestial event was very, closely perfect, like at 0 degrees, all these forces very synergized in their placements at that moment, it makes all the mythology very accurate when trying to analyze it as an astrologer. Like, you would try this shit right now. And
we don't have it in front of us now, but I've also been told that the astrology around the 9/11 attacks was fairly unique and in alignment with destructive energies.
So my own poetic take on what this all looks like, it's a bit like Medusa's head is being raised high up and everyone on the planet has met her gaze, and it's world-changing shit.
It's just Joe Biden staring.
I'm a weapon now.
I gotta quit now. Bye.
And it just so happens that Trump's chart himself, his Maidhaven, pretty much his life goals, they're conjunct with Algol in Taurus.
Oh!
Yo! See, I told you gotta look at his chart.
So there's a whole thing that's like, people years ago were saying he's going to be assassinated, probably shot in the head because his Midhaven's conjunct with Algol.
Franz Ferdinand, that guy, he was assassinated on the same conjunction.
No!
Yeah.
That was a bad war.
Whoa.
Just saying.
There's a lot of other shit that happens on this conjunction. Look it up. But that's the one I remembered. I'm like, oh my gosh, they kill people when this happens. Because it's perfect. Except you picked the wrong dude. Algol is cool. I didn't know about this, but it's right on top of Uranus. So this is just crazy. It's just wild energy. It's a sudden and unexpected tragedy.
It is a sudden and unexpected tragedy whenever Al Gore is on Uranus.
Yeah. But I feel like with Mars included, that indicates the mortal death risk or the wounding from weapons like the ear. And it's related to military and ruling powers like politics, like the government. But however, Algol has a brighter side because despite any tragedy, there is a great power to be drawn from it. So it's all about how you play your cards, your trump cards, I guess.
Oh.
Here, I feel like it's being channeled in a sudden and chaotic, yet extremely lucky way. This is a rare burst of energy, but I feel like when it's handled correctly, it can be extremely energizing, protective, and transformative, both in the physical and the psychic realms. Algol in the Perseus constellation, Algol is in the Perseus constellation, and it's a part of Medusa's head, and it's kind of like, people call it third eye because it's kind of between, in the center of her head. So it's the heart of the demon, kind of. It's a bad omen of horrible tragedy, death, and suffering. But the power behind the star, especially when paired with the other planets, is chaotic and explosive, yet somehow still positively inspiring at the same time. And that's why I believe this event will go down in history. We've already seen the imagery. It was bound to happen because of the alignment, honestly.
You've also got a lot of head symbolism going on here. You've got Aries in the 4th house. You have Mars, which rules Aries in this conjunction with Algol, which is, you've got Aries with the head, Mars ruling Aries, which has to do with the head, and then you have Algol, which has to do with Medusa's head.
Yeah. It's
a whole lot of head.
It's a lot. So also in house 6 is Jupiter, but Jupiter is in Gemini. And this is where we kind of pick up our dualistic energy. So Jupiter sums it up pretty well. The event was extremely fast. It happened in seconds. The shooter had an opportunity with the lack security that was wasted by bad luck. So Jupiter is about luck and opportunities, and that was kind of wasted. Trump himself had good luck by turning his head at the last moment to save his literal life. Plus, he took the opportunity for some good press by addressing the crowd, even as he was being moved away. The energy in Gemini helped influence the chance through Jupiter, completely inverting the purpose of the event into one of great power and influence for his campaign. Really, this event could have gone either way, but it's complete happenstance. It's pretty incredible the way that it fell, because it should have, by all means, It should have worked because they had the alignment going, but god damn it, Jupiter.
I wonder what happens on the other timeline.
So in the tarot, Jupiter in Gemini is the 8 of Swords, which represents interference. Like there's
Oh my
like
goodness.
bad communication, mistakes, errors, stuff like that.
So it could also be bad luck.
Wow.
Basically, essentially on the chart, the ascending sign is Sagittarius, and there's no planets over there. And then Jupiter is on the extreme opposite in Gemini, and it's pretty much flipping the whole game because Gemini's, that's why I was talking about it being dualistic.
Well, I think that Eight of Swords interference is very much like, especially with the Uranus in the chart as well, is very much like, oh, you got a plan? Nope.
Yep.
Interference.
So next up is the Sun, which is in Cancer, and it's also in House 8, which is ruling over sex. And the Sun is the perception on the surface level of the event and how it unfolded. The general consensus around the event as a whole is quite seductive and seemed to influence the greater social network in a net positive, even if out of pity. This is a very in-your-face kind of event that may have forced some more naive or idealistic people to really think about the current problems in the political landscape and want to get more involved in creating the future. It's not really something you could look away from or escape entirely, especially when you're discussing it with the people closest to you. For many people, specifically those that are centrist, fence-sitting, or otherwise non-involved in politics as usual, have probably realized that things won't get better if they're ignored. Attention is needed to heal and recreate the nation in a way that everyone should be participating in. Everyone, of course, has an opinion and an outlook on the shooting event, but the jarring impact of this event has clearly gotten some people to realize things won't get better until they participate in the creation of the future of the country with everyone else.
It has a very germinal, like pregnant energy because of Cancer, and then it being the house of transformation, sex, and intimacy, also mysteries.
It's an invitation to create with, to be involved. The next sign in Leo, we have Venus and Mercury, and this is still in the house 8, which is over sex. So Venus is here, and with the Leo energy, it influences how the event was perceived by people, like the looks of it. Does it look sexy? I mean, the photographs, they were stunning, they were fabulous, they were tremendous, once in a lifetime captures of history. This kind of visual reward from such a tragic event allows people to appreciate the unique perfection of how it unfolded. The coincidence of all these actions coming together to culminate into the greatest political campaign commercial of all time would enamor and charm many people. Something similar happened as well when Trump's mugshot from Fulton County Jail in Georgia spurred a huge influx of fame and donations to the Trump. So I imagine that probably the result of this event as well. And then also nearby, we have Mercury here, and this is indicative of how the communication happened during the event. So news spread quickly, and there was a lot of half-truths and misinformation mixed in, and the initial reports were chaotic within the first few hours, but as things began to solidify and we got more information, it appeared that the assassination attempt had completely backfired in the worst way possible. Things would be way worse if it had been successful, most likely, and I think a lot of people agree on that. But Mercury being here shows that as a culture, Americans seem to be divided and defensive of one another, much like the two parties that have pulled further apart over the years. As people willingly listen to one side and dismiss the other, believe hearsay without verifying what happened first and in what order, and live in competition and contempt of those on the other side of the aisle, these kinds of tragic outbursts of energy will continue to happen in society. Mercury here reminds those to be brave enough to speak their mind without resorting to arrogance, vitriol, contempt towards others, and to be sportsmanlike, y'all. And then lastly, we have Libra, and this is in house 10, which is pretty important for the event because it represents social status. Here we have the moon, which represents the actual hidden nature at the center of the event, underneath the initial perception, say, we get with the sun. We're all aware what a ham President Trump is, and that he knew there would be some good photo ops along the way. His reaction to stand up and show that he was okay was actually pretty authentic, according to this reading.
I mean, I would agree with that. Like, it's basically seconds after he's been shot at, and he knows, like, in that moment how close that was. Your initial reaction is typically of shock if you talk about human behavior. So, just the reaction to it is probably not acceptable exceptionally pre-planned.
No,
Well, the moon also represents the subconscious and giant big crowds of people. So social status and big crowds of people, it's going to shift people over to him. That kind of goes with the Libra imagery as well with the scales. People's opinions are going to shift based on this event.
but they're also in tune in a way it's not by words or speech. There's an energy that's exchanged with this. So I believe the shot that was taken to end him was also authentic just as much as his reaction. I don't believe this is staged for many reasons, especially after I saw the significance of the Mars, Uranus, and Algol conjunction that we talked about earlier. Although Trump is totally a narcissist, I totally can agree with that. I believe that his reaction was authentic and was intended to be forward and transparent to the crowd about his condition, that he was okay. He rallied the crowd to applaud and chant as he was escorted out, pumping his fist in the air and all that. And that thankfully kept people distracted enough to stop from stampeding out of the venue like frightened animals and injuring each other.
It's kind of funny to imagine Donald Trump being such a powerful evil wizard that he actually knows about the Mars, Algol, Uranus conjunction and plans a whole WWF
I don't
razor
think so.
on the ear move. Like, is he really that? Like,
I don't think so.
imagine Donald Trump in his wizard outfit and his orrery, with his fucking pendulum and shit.
I'm just trying to imagine him doing any ritual, even the most basic ritual, with the way that
He wouldn't do it.
That's kind
he
of
wouldn't do
funny.
it. He would be like, this is dumb. I'm going to
Funny.
say it my way.
I walked into the room. I did it. I came.
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna do it.
No. But yeah, if he didn't try to stand up or look at the crowd at all, if they rushed him out, people might have gone into a panic. So I think this was kind of a social courtesy as well as a flex of vanity at the same time. So the people who saw it happen live or even saw photos and videos later would be able to fairly judge the scene as it unfolded for themselves. Because we have so much connection, social media, there's all these videos that come out from multiple angles. I don't even blame some people for still being convinced it was completely fake and staged though, even though a man's head was blown off in the stands. This and the other injuries kind of to me showed it wasn't blank or even airsoft pellets. The
No.
statistics of this event unfolding in this way is extremely transparent, especially because of, like I said, all the internet and video sharing apps, media we have at the time.
Yeah, it almost happened live.
Yeah.
It almost did.
Prime Minister Abe smiling down from the clouds like Mufasa from Lion King. So really the whole point of this is that the moon is supposed to show the hidden and underlying part of the event that they don't want you to know about, but it happens to be in House 10, which is like the most public, forward, completely transparent area of the event chart. So it's a completely transparent event. And also in the Ascendant, there's nothing. So there's no pre-programmed, pre-planned stuff indicated in this chart whatsoever.
So on the day of the rally, there was also an occultation of one of the Bahenian fixed stars, Spica. And Spica as a word means ear of corn, which is an interesting point considering where Donald J. Trump was hit.
In his ear. And he's also the color of corn.
And he's a cornball.
It's perfect, right? So this star is said to give immense riches and renown, something that Donald J. Trump definitely has. This star, when not in favorable times, is also said to be a very bad sign, as it will cause injustice to the innocent, though later the innocent may be justified when the star comes back into its favorable aspect or its rising moments. So it's kind of always good to pray to this star because it's always going to be about something good, I guess. So as I mentioned, it was the moon which occulted or blocked Spica. The way I interpret this, and as you might know, the moon is a symbol of emotion, the subconscious parts of a person's reality or their attitude, their personality. So the way I see the cosmic energies mixing in this particular event can very well be an assassination attempt. I say this because these types of events, assassinations, are usually fueled by immense amount of emotions or social tension. There's a lot on the line and it can flip-flop this way or that way at any moment, it seems. So it's like the moon energy was blocking the fortune that Spica is trying to transmit from the cosmos, right? It's blocked by the emotions of the moon, and it's perhaps a negative form of the energy now, right? Because it's filtered, it's not pure. And it just so happens that, Agrippa, the famous magician, he also wrote about Spica in his books, in his 3 books of occult philosophy. And to each of the Bahenian fixed stars, he attributed like a hieroglyph or like a special symbol. And the symbol for this star, he says in the writings, it's related to Hermes Trismegistus.
Oh, Oh, interesting.
So when we put the gunman's, the potential assassin's name into a Gematria calculator, under certain ways of calculating and getting the number, one of the other phrases that equals 246, the same value as a gunman's name, you also could find Hermes Trismegistus.
He's got 3 names. Thomas Mathew Crooks. It's crazy. He could disappear and reappear on the roof. Turn invisible.
So we talked about some of the events, astrology chart stuff, right? And I also have spoken about Trump's personal chart. In Trump's chart, his Regulus is conjunct with his ascendant. So that's to say Trump's rising sign is that of Leo, and inside the constellation of Leo is the royal star Regulus.
Whoa. That explains why he likes gold so much.
So what? How would you explain this? What's a rising sign? It's like what the day you were born, right? When the sun rose?
Yeah, your rising sign is like how you appear to the world. It's like your image. It's how you look, and it's also kind of explained as like what you grow into, because that's how others will come to see you.
Yeah, it's a very it's an outward projection. It's not really you.
Your sun sign is a lot like your engine, and then your rising sign is a lot like the car's body.
Yeah.
So people with Regulus conjunct ascendant in Leo are natural leaders and definitely want to let you know a fact about them. People with this in their charts can easily be authoritative. Trump, being a Gemini on top of this, can make for someone who is kind of a bit fun, juggling the role of power between states of being regal and kind to being an overbearing menace to those around him.
Sounds about right. So this is the part in Trump's chart that always makes him say that everything is the best and the greatest ever.
Right, but it's also reflective of this Gemini quality of it being a little bit shifty, you know? It's kind of, it's a fun boss, but you might get fired, out of nowhere for some stupid shit because somebody just did a better job than you. I guess if we're going to make it a show.
Kind of like how he appointed the FBI director, but now he's calling for his resignation.
Great example.
But if you'd like to hear even more of this show, which has become very long in length, where we're going to talk about Thomas Mathew Crooks, potentially the patsy of this whole failed assassination attempt, and some of the crazy gematria of his name as it relates to the other stuff we've already talked about in this episode. It's gonna blow your mind. Then we're also gonna talk about some of his shady connections, the shooter's shady connections to a very big multinational organization.
Some more weird prophecy stuff and eclipse stuff and Bible stuff.
We got a timeline of the assassination and some very juicy word on the street, behind the scenes, conspiratorial, what actually happened that day type stuff.
Yeah, you only hear about this stuff when you stay up past your bedtime kind of information,
There's a couple things that I noticed too that I took notes of, so.
And it's a little more unhinged than the free side of the show. So you've been warned. That being said, if you'd like to hear it, please go to www.patreon.com/thewholerabbit, where your monthly donation of just $5 will not only get you this extended episode, but every single one of our extended episodes available on Patreon. When you sign in, you can browse all the extended episodes right from Spotify. It's the best ever. The best. I'll send you a 5x5 high quality vinyl sticker for our Big Bunny Baphomet cover art, which is also the best, and you'll get the secret keys to our Discord server, which is definitely the best. Thank you, everybody. Eat carrots and shoot lasers.
Pew, pew, pew.
Pew pew. Incredible.
The best.